It's Wednesday, and this is Things You Might Not Have Heard, where I'm going to present for you in moments yesterday's latest in information, politics, current events, and pop culture news. Your go-to source for supplemental stuff that is a bunch of mainstream, a bunch of unconventional, and a whole mix in the middle, and you make the conversation go. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne, and that's literally how things happen. You actually help us pick the stories every single morning. We're going to give you 8 stories right now that you helped tell us was conversational, stories that were worth chatting up, and we're going to give them to you. And if you're watching the video and you see the teaser graphic, we're talking about that guy. That guy is in the news this morning and ongoing, so we'll have some updates on him and 7 other stories as well. Go to our main website, which is theconversationproject.com, for more details about how we operate at the Conversation Project, and we will explain the feeds, as in how you get us the stories to us, and of course, the second life, the second show, the fun stuff happens at the end of the news. So stick around for that one. Give us 12 minutes or so to get you the headlines, and I know you'll enjoy those, and you'll enjoy the fun stuff as well. Let's get into it. Today is September the 13th, 2023, Wednesday, and this edition of Things You Might Have Heard is starting right now. And we're beginning with this story here. Child poverty in the U.S. jumped an income in decline in 2022 as coronavirus pandemic benefits ended. This is a complicated story, but this is one of the top stories from the day, and I'm glad it popped up as a story you thought was conversational because you didn't, gloss over it. The COVID-19 pandemic level benefits that people got because people didn't work, were forced not to work, however you want to frame that, are ending. And things are looking not so great, or have ended and ending more. And things are not looking so great on the poverty level because a lot of things that fixed poverty, in a sense, if you can fix it, were eliminated by the loss of the quote unquote free money. A lot of things get out there like tax income credits and things to supplement people who could not do as much stuff, and even bolster people who did as much as they could, are now gone away. This is one of those things that you talk about when we talk about benefits and things you're getting from the government as supplements that eventually do go away. This is why most of them don't actually go away, because they become a part of the actual fabric of life. While in theory, we should not be supplementing people forever because there's other things to deal with, in reality, there are people who must be supplemented for a mighty, mighty long time, because there are some people who cannot pull themselves from the bootstraps or find ways out of things. And especially in pandemic times, for children who are suffering because their parents are suffering, it just does not work out in the wash. So check out the link for this story. We pulled it from AP, but there's plenty out there to get from that talks about the income and poverty, difference in health insurance, and how the census, and the lack of a good census, because both people were hiding and people were hiding. That's a bit of a political dig in that one. Made a difference in the money that people received then and are receiving now, as those pandemic level benefits have ended and are slowly, not as fast as some people like, slowly being pulled away. The WWE and UFC are officially together, a merger calling TKO Group, with Vince McMahon losing majority control of the entire company. Now, Vince McMahon had major control of WWE essentially all of his life, or all the life of this company. Originally started as a WWF, and then was founded under Titan Sports as WWF, and then changed its name because the Panda Bears are stronger than the wrestlers, so it turned to WWE. And Vince McMahon has owned that company, or been a big part of the ownership of the company ever since, even when he was pushed away, because people just didn't like what Vince was doing on TV. Now he's back in control, and not so much majority control of the TKO Group. A $21 billion company, Sports Benchmark is now in a group that is a mixture of WWE entertainment, the sports entertainment, the fake stuff, and UFC, the Octagon, the real stuff. How this will play out going forward? Well, one big company will manage all the stuff, so you'll see more promotions and more real promotions with both types of fighters. But it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a real big deal. I saw yesterday the ticker price changed in my stock portfolio. I own a big chunk of WWE, and now I am following a bit more closely the world of UFC because now it's worth my money. Our next story a very happy ending to, and a quick ending as well, for the American explorer who was rescued from a cave in Turkey after being trapped there for days, having his serious issues. Mark Dickey, the 40-year-old cave explorer, was successfully removed from a cave and done on a stretcher because he could not actually move. More than a week after falling ill inside the cave, it took them a few days to get him through on the stretcher, cord by cord, and that is now a safe and sound equal story that is done. After his recovery, I'm sure he'll be back down working in the caves again, but we are very happy to report that they were able to save Mark Dick from his predicament in the bottom of the Turkish cave. The California Assembly passes a bill supported by WGA and SAG-AFTRA that would provide unemployment insurance for striking workers. This is good. As the strike continues to keep the Writers Guild and the Actors Guild from doing any work, they are not earning any money. And because of that, they have literally no rights to any working compensation unless they were paying up into some sort of insurance bills or COBRA. They don't have insurance, and they're going to get something to keep them living, unemployment insurance, based off this bill that the California Assembly just passed a few days ago. So congratulations for that. We'll have more about the striking stuff, a lot more about striking stuff mixed into today's headlines. But this is the first step for all those working actors who actually were working enough to make payroll, make money on this. Not folks that have millions of dollars banked away. They're not making anything right now, so they are suffering. And people who are just sort of, the waiters who basically make money off of tips, they aren't suffering as much because they weren't actually making as much money in the acting business. People who actually were making decent wages, they're the ones that are actually suffering. Now they have a little bit of relief with unemployment insurance coming soon. Speaker McCarthy initiates an impeachment inquiry into President Biden. Speaker McCarthy of the United States House of Representatives is going to push for a inquiry, the start of an impeachment of President Biden. And why are we doing this? Because Donald Trump was impeached twice. Basically it. And a bunch of crazy people are saying we should do it. Basically it. Because there's no actual task. They can't even come up with a reason to do it. In the fact for Donald Trump, there were reasons, and they had to actually narrow them down because there were way too many thoughts and ideas on why we should do this. For the McCarthy era Republicans in the House, it's different. They just want to impeach him because, one, it sort of cloudies up the waters of the thoughts on Donald Trump being so bad, and two, it sort of cloudies up the water of Donald Trump being so bad. Basically, it's the same reason. It's just cloudies the water of Donald Trump being so bad, and it's just revenge. I guess that's the third one, is revenge. So we're going to see how this play lays out. The biggest issue is many Republicans, especially in the Senate, who are like, what the hell is going on down there? And many Republicans in the House are like, we don't really have an idea what we're doing this, but I guess we're going to roll with this. That's what we're doing these days. Oh, by the way, government's shutting down at the end of the month, but we're going to impeach Biden for literally no actual reason. We don't have a reason. We just want to. My interpretation, the interpretation of a lot of people across America. Al Pacino hires Powerhouse lawyer after 29-year-old girlfriend Noor files custody case against Hollywood star. So this is a very short article that's really us digging into Al Pacino's business. Although months ago, we were all like, dude, Pacino's still got it. He's making it happen. He's pulling 29-year-olds. He's having babies. It's all good until the mother sues for full custody and legal fees going forward. So that means there's some business behind this business. Al Pacino has hired attorney Adam Philip Lipsick, who's apparently a big deal in the world of custody battles and money between famous people and non-famous people. We shall see how this goes through. Now, Pacino is listed as the father of the child. All rights, all there. But she has asked the court to give her primary custody, not a shared custody. They're not together, apparently, but So this is going to be bigger than all of us because Al Pacino is bigger than all of us. More news going around with the striking actors and writers. This is dealing with the lineup for TV. As Comics Unleashed with Byron Allen will join the fall CBS lineup in replacement of some of the scripted shows that would have been there, like the Late Show with that guy, Stephen Colbert. The long-running syndicated comedy talk show with comics sitting there doing comedy stuff will air on CBS during the strike at 12:37 to 1:37 a.m. Eastern Pacific. So that slot time, that would be late night talk show stuff will be aired with Byron Allen. Now, if you slept on Byron Allen, knowing him as basically a young genius comic, one of the youngest comics to be live on the Tonight Show and get that thumbs up from Johnny, did time on Real People, if you will, as a network show, and became a master of media, literally growing an empire of various things in syndication and real life stuff. He owns the Weather Channel, folks. This guy owns the Weather Channel. If you slept on that, then you missed on this one. This has been... the show has run in syndication for 18 consecutive seasons, so you can count that as whatever. But he's going to prime time, late night, if you will, to fill the gap for the scripted stuff. If you don't know Byron Allen, you better know Byron Allen, because he may be owning everything in media very soon. Wrap things up in the main headlines with the iPhone, the new one. Apple iPhone is coming to you very soon. Pre-orders start this Friday. And guess what? Better chips, faster camera, and the brand new USB-C charging port. Yes, you can now charge your iPhone with the same charger everybody else in the world uses. They've already changed that and took away the lightning ports for iPads and MacBooks. So everything charges on a USB-C, so it's universal. So that means less having to get a special iPhone charger because you're special. You are no longer special. So that. Look for, now the models, the prices are actually not too bad, if you will. It's for iPhone prices. They're trying to keep some things down to a manageable scope. Not a lot of love, not a lot of hype for the 14, although there was a lot of great big jumps, leaps in technology for that one. But the big thing is now that the 15's here, about to be here, you can get one with the USB-C charging, and that is what everybody was waiting for because Europe can push people around. They got Apple to do it, so now we get it as well. In our spot for apologies, errors, and omissions, we're going to do a couple hits for dealing with the writers' strike specifically. Number one, The Talk and the Jennifer Hudson Show are going back to work despite the strikes as well. We talked about Drew Barrymore show going back, and she's getting a lot of flack for that. The Talk and Jennifer Hudson are also returning back to TV, announcing they're back without any writers. How they deal with that, you shall see. And Drew Barrymore has also been dropped from the National Book Awards to host that show because she's taken the main flack from her talk show resuming during the strike. We shall see how that plays out as well. By the way, just in case you missed it, Aaron Rodgers got hurt in his first game as a Jet. He's out for the season, torn ACL. Our teaser story for today is a headline we could talk about tomorrow morning if you deem it worthy, just like Millionaire, to be in the chat. And you do that literally by telling us what to talk about, telling us how to do this thing. Go to our feeds on Facebook.com or Twitter.com, X.com. Facebook, it is This It's a Conversation Project. Twitter, it is th_conversation. The headline reads, North Korea's Kim vows full support for Russia's just fights, that's in quotes, after viewing launch pads with Putin. So literally, as I was doing this morning, Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin will walk around some launch pads for some rockets and pre-talking their summit. They haven't even had the summit yet. They're just talking about rockets, 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 Ukraine, 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 we hate America. And right now, Kim is saying he's got Russia's back. What will that mean? We can talk deeper about the story if you deem this a worthy story. If it's one of the top 15 stories of the morning in your engagement, then we'll probably pull it out there. 8 of those top 15 stories will be in the headlines for tomorrow. Go to our feeds, engage in the stories, like them, love them, hate them, share them. The more you engage in story, we do this all day long, every 50 minutes, a brand new news story, the higher chance it gets in there because top 15 stories for Thursday will get a shot to be discussed here in the show. You don't get a pick in what we discuss in the show on our sponsors, but I think you'll like this one. Hostage Tape has been one of our more popular, even quirky sponsors that we've had in the last 8 months. And once we put them on there, people were scratching their heads as in why we would be honoring something called Hostage Tape. Well, number one, it's a quirky name, so it got your attention. There it is. Number two, what it does. Mouth tape, and it's the most comfortable mouth tape in the planet. You can put it on your mouth. Why would you do that? Why would you put tape on your mouth so you can breathe? Exactly. It helps you to breathe properly when you're exercising, when you're sleeping, when you're just, meditating. It keeps you from breathing out of your mouth, which I'm muffling right now for the effect, and breathing through your nose. You can see in the picture, if you're watching the video, there's a picture of a guy who's running, he's got his earbuds in, he's got tape on his mouth. That keeps him breathing through his nose, so he's doing his proper breathing, not shallow breathing through his mouth. Check it out, and you will fall in love with Hostage Tape. Trust me, you will fall in love with hostage tape. It may be great for your workouts, it may be great for your meditation sessions, it may be the thing that saves your marriage as you stop snoring because you're not breathing through your mouth, you're breathing through your nose. Now, if you have deeper issues, go see a doctor, but give this a shot right here, hostage tape. Go to our site or for our affiliate link at thisisaconversationproject.com/hostage tape. This is conversationproject.com/hostage tape. This is an affiliate link, so we get a little bit of commission from you stopping there. And if you want to see other sponsors, go to our website and see money there. But today, we want to tell you about this great thing. Trust me, it's a great thing. You will giggle as you go through the information, but then you'll say, maybe I should try it, because you should. It's called hostage tape. The Conversation Project lives at thisisaconversationproject.com. Find us online 24/7, where replays of this thing here, we're recording it live in a video at 5:50 a.m. on this 13th of September, but the video lives and the audio lives, and we have the links there. You can check it out anytime you want to, 24/7. Plus our weekend shows and other things we do on the TikTok as well for other commentary. We like to bring you in for as much information and commentary as possible, so find us at our website. The biggest thing to help us find these things is to be a part of the feeds. Facebook and Twitter. Follow us in the feeds. Tell us what to talk about. Email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. Let us know the details on what we should do better or not as bad. And if you think we're doing fairly good, fairly well, fairly okay, we can use your help doing fairly better, fairly okay-er. If you go to our partnerships page, you can see if there's ways that we can partner together to do great things. And we thank you in advance for everything you do. It costs you nothing to go to the feeds and send us emails other than electricity. So go ahead and do that. Make sure you're doing that. But anything else on top of that, we are so appreciative of it. And now we're going to the fun stuff as promised, the second show, and it begins right now. We always start the fun stuff on birthdays on the day, and today is no exception for September the 13th. The birthdays listing for this day include Gene Smart, turning 72 years old on the day. Also, Tyler Perry, 54 years old. Not sure if he's wearing the dress today or not, but gosh darn it, he deserves it. 54 years old for Tyler Perry. Going from a struggling producer actor, the whole living in his car thing was the real deal for him. Finding success early on in the black community and the church community doing the Medea plays just in small settings, and turning Medea into a nationwide, a worldwide phenomena where, trust me, they love some Medea overseas. Australia loves some Medea. You wouldn't think so, but they do. Medea and Tyler Perry, I guess technically the same person. 54 years old on the day, and let's get some age into you right now. Ben Savage, yeah, that guy. He is 43 years old today. Now, that in the grand scheme of things doesn't seem all that old, because it's not really. It's still pretty good in the range of being a person. But if you remember that he started out basically on TV at 12 and at 31 years, yeah, you're kind of old. Our history lesson for this morning, starting off in 1985. On this day, the 13th of September, in 1985, Nintendo released its Super Smash Super Mario Brothers. Guess what? You're really, really old if you remember 85 and Super Mario Brothers. You're kind of there. Also, in 1990, which really makes you feel like this thing's been on forever, the first episode of Law & Order aired on NBC, 1990. Yes, I know they've revamped the original show, and they've had all the outliers, and of course, Special Victims Union is basically the granddaddy of them all right now. But the original Law and Order, the first one, Jerry Orbach led, and I think I probably had Benjamin Bratt, maybe Jesse L. Williams. We'll have to kind of go back and look at that. First episode in 1990. And not that far away, in 2019, Felicity Huffman was sentenced to 14 days in prison for her role in the college admissions scandal. We remember that one pretty big, where many very famous people were able to get their kids into big colleges. And most of those kids weren't all that bright, apparently, but they got them in on various odds. They paid a bunch of money, got some fake scholarships in, and you got kids who don't know how to row on rowing teams. One of the weird things about this one is Felicity Huffman is married to another famous person. They together didn't go together. It was basically her on her own getting their kids into college, where in other places, like in other situations, it was both parents working together. This was a one-woman deal in this one. William H. Macy, her husband. Now, today on September 13th, we celebrate Roald Dahl Day. Why do we do that? Well, why the heck not? Should we do that? There's no reason to. But on this day, this is a day that is a celebration of the annual celebration, if you will, of the stories by Roald Dahl and his marvelous stories from Matilda to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Now, today's day and age, some of those stories have not exactly aged as well as they should, which is why these stories are being redone in new ways. Of course, Matilda has been changed from the lovable children's book to the movie that starred Mara Wilson way back when, which was lovely as well, into a musical, which is now, you can see that on Netflix or various streaming services. The musical for Matilda is a very updated retelling of what's going on that does add a little bit extra diversity into the actual mix, but it is a beautiful story, and I'm sure Roald Dahl would love that one. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory has been redone and redone and redone, and it's about to be redone again in another weird sort of fashion where it's just, I guess, Willy Wonka hanging out with his with the Oompa Loompas and just sort of chatting it up or whatever. I don't know much about the new story, but they've redone this one many, many times, including the one with Johnny Depp, which seemed a little weirder, if that was possible. But we celebrate Roald Dahl and his stories, his wonderful, marvelous stories, as listed in my notes, on this day, September 13th. And finally, one more thing you might not have heard. These are some things that parents have missed the most about life for children. So if you're a person who has not had a child yet, then these are things that you will miss very soon, very, very soon. Saturday morning sleep-ins, a clean house, watching a show in complete peace, leaving the house at a moment's notice without having to worry about a sitter, spending money guilt-free, having a shower or bath without being disturbed. Oh yeah, that's one that's missed. Going to the bathroom without being disturbed. Not the same thing because they're similar, not the same, both big things. And vacations not dictated by a school calendar. Your mileage may vary on all of these, but if you are a newish parent, this is what you're going through for at least 12, 13 years until you can send the kid to grandma for extended periods of time. With that, this has been Things You Might Have Heard for Wednesday, September 13th, 2023. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne, and I thank you for being a part of this show today. Whether you watch this live with me as I spewed these words starting at 5:50 a.m. at Central Time, or if you're watching this on a recording or just listening to on a recording, thank you so much for tuning in. Find all the different various ways to get this at our website. This is theconversationproject.com. You can even sign up for the newsletter, which will give you just the links to it for a quick look through what's going on as well. You can also stop by our website for many, many other things. The calls to action gets really, really weird, but the most important things we need you to do is follow us on our feeds and let us know what we're talking about tomorrow and the next day and the next day. It's just like that. We love this. This is a joy to do, and so we're going to keep doing it as long as you keep telling us what to talk about. Stay limber, stay hydrated, stay on task for all the grand things you in your life are here to do for all of us. All of us. For you, you're more than just a viewer or a listener. You are a friend. And for your friends, you're more than just probably not a viewer or listener, but you are an actual friend and probably are there to do actual things for them. We all appreciate you on that end. With that, let's wrap it up for the Wednesday. Have a great actual Wednesday, whether you're watching this early in the morning or you're checking out late. Hopefully you had a great Wednesday. We're going to sneak away, get prepared for our Thursday edition of this thing as you tell us what to talk about for the next 24 hours.